Welcome to UPAO Wellness Wednesday for October 18th, 2023. Our topic today is environmental wellness. My name is Carla Robinson. I'm the Executive Director of United Parks as One. I'm here with Hajjah Dena Corbin and her special guest. Hajjah Dena is the United Parks as One Wellness and Wellbeing Navigator. She's the guide for our wellness journey. Hajjadina, so far, you and your guests have looked at spiritual wellness, emotional wellness, physical wellness,
Yep.
and community wellness. Today, we're looking at our next dimension of wellness, environmental wellness. Let's get started.
Yes, I am so excited to have our next speaker, our next guest, who's going to talk to us about environmental wellness. But before I read her intensive, impressive bio, I just want to say when I see Asada, I feel comfortable knowing that our young people are involved in our environmental wellness. So Asada, we welcome you, and I thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to speak with us. So Asada Rashidi is a native Newark resident with a deeply rooted commitment in advocating environmental justice for her community. She has witnessed a variety of disparities that her fellow residents of the South Ward have endured. Some most important to her are food security, affordable housing, and access to clean air and water. Asada's burning desire for advocacy and innovative change compelled her to seek out local organizations such as Commercial District Services, South Ward Special Improvement District, and Student Conservation Association. Her work at Newark City Hall, Department of Sustainability, solidified her desire to pursue a career in environmental studies. Asada graduated Spelman College in 2021 with a bachelor's degree in environmental studies in just 3 years. Wow. I told y'all. Asada currently serves as the environmental justice organizer for South Ward Environmental Alliance and the chair of the Environmental Justice Committee for the North NAACP. In these roles, she is responsible for managing and coordinating campaigns and projects to increase public awareness while building a grassroots environmental justice movement. In addition, she will continue to leverage her cognizance and comprehension of environmental degradation and the negative effects it has on communities to inform and engage those around her. So I present to you Asada. Let's get right in. Let me just ask my first question. So I'm so excited here. So Asada, what is environmental wellness? What does it look like?
Thanks, Miss Dena and
Mhm.
Miss Carla for having me here. So environmental wellness is one of the dimensions of overall wellness that focus on the relationship between individuals and their environment. It encompasses the well-being of the planet and how it affects the individual and community health. Environmental wellness is about understanding and actively taking steps to protect and improve the quality of the environment for the benefit of both present and future generations. It involves being aware of the impact of your actions on the environment, making sustainable choices, and promoting a healthy, clean, and safe environment. So this can include reducing your environmental footprint,
Mhm.
which means, minimizing personal waste, resource consumption, and conserving water and energy. Of course, recycling, as well as reducing the use of single-use plastics. This can also look like connecting with nature. Make sure you're spending time in nature, engaging in outdoor activities, and appreciating the beauty and the serenity of the natural environments. This also includes making sure you're advocating for environmental causes. So, getting involved in environmental initiatives such as volunteering for a conservation organization or participating in community cleanup events.
Mhm.
And this means as well supporting sustainable practices. So, buying locally produced and eco-friendly products, as well as supporting businesses and environmental responsible practices.
Okay. Thank you. Very, very intensive answer. So you said, you know what, I'm gonna read through the other questions and then we'll come back and touch on some key points because you said some really important things here when you said actively participate and sustainable choices and local support. So we're gonna come back and expand on that just a little bit. How do you get people engaged in work that will help improve environmental wellness for individuals, neighborhoods, the city, and beyond? How do you get people engaged?
So, encouraging individuals, neighborhoods, and cities and beyond to become engaged in activities that improve environmental wellness can be achieved through various strategies. One can be, as you know, education and awareness. What I do in my role here at SWIA and as the chair of the Environmental Justice Committee for the NAACP, we have to raise awareness about the environmental issues through workshops, seminars, and informational campaigns. We have to highlight the connection between the environment and the person's well-being because the environment is directly connected to people's health. When you live in a unhealthy environment, your health declines and your quality of life is impacted, and it's not the best quality.
Okay.
You have to make sure you're very involved with the community. So, as I mentioned before, you can organize events like cleanup drives, tree planting, and urban gardening projects. And this also promotes a sense of community and environmental stewardship. Another way is through policy and advocacy. You have to be able to advocate for environmental friendly policies and practices at the local, state, and national levels. And you have to make sure you're encouraging individuals to engage in advocacy for environmental causes that they're passionate about. There's also incentives and rewards. So people can be offered certain incentives or special recognition for sustainable action, whether it's like monetary or certification, certificate, things of that nature. And then you want to make sure you start to build partnerships with environmental organizations as well as schools and businesses to foster a culture of environmental responsibility.
Okay. So you said a key word, which is advocacy, right? Advocate. People tend to advocate sometimes for, education or better jobs or better housing. Do you find that people have a difficult time or not fully understand what advocating for environmental justice or environmental wellness is? Or what does that really, I mean, you explained to us what it looks like, but just do you think that people have a difficult time understanding that advocating for environmental wellness is just as important for advocating for food, housing, and health?
Yes, I definitely think that there's oftentimes a disconnect because environmental justices are in communities of, people of color or those marginalized. And oftentimes they often have, other things at the forefront of their minds, making sure their kids get to school, making sure they have food to eat, making sure somebody is able to watch their kids or take care of their family. So they don't sometimes that disconnect is there. And so what we try to do is make sure that uh, that's a part of the incentive thing too. So when we're having these workshops and bringing awareness, hey, we have a meal for you. Hey, we can watch your children for you while you're doing this workshop. Sometimes we have, a monetary compensation because their time is valuable and we want them to understand that. And it's just as important as understanding the environmental issues that's impacting their quality of life and making sure that they're able to advocate for that avenue as well.
Yeah, great point. Thank you so much. So in our last question, then I'm going to go back up to the top for just a few minutes. How is environmental wellness related to some of the other dimensions of wellness, such as spiritual wellness, emotional wellness, physical, community, intellectual, occupational, and financial wellness?
Okay, so I'm going to break it down by the different wellnesses. So first with physical wellness, a clean and healthy environment contributes to physical wellness by reducing the, exposure to pollutants, promoting outdoor activities, and providing, access to fresh and nutritious foods. Our environment here in Newark is especially hazardous. We have a lot of air toxins that we're surrounded by, and one of the things I have the pleasure of doing is helping to advocate and collect data so that we can see how much toxins we're breathing, and then advocate for stronger regulations and standards for the emissions, and then also, advocate for more things like electrified trucks. For emotional wellness, a connection to nature and a clean environment can have a calm and stress reducing effect, supporting the emotional well being. I know when I was younger and I had more time on my hands, I was able to engage outdoors more, to go on walks and really enjoy my nature, especially around or in Weequahic Park. Taking that walk around the lake was really calming for me. Also, environmental wellness also involves community engagement and cooperation. I know, fostering a sense of belonging and social well-being. And then for intellectual wellness, learning about environmental issues and solutions can also stimulate intellectual wellness and critical thinking. One thing we always talk about is making sure our youth are involved, and they're the next generation, and they have so many innovative thoughts and ideas to contribute to making our environment sustainable. Um, so then for occupational wellness, eco-friendly practices and businesses contribute to occupational wellness by providing meaningful work and promoting ethical practices when it comes to environment. Financial wellness is sustainable choices can lead to cost savings in the long run. And for spiritual wellness, the connection to nature and environmental stewardship can align with spiritual beliefs and values, and enhance your spiritual wellness.
Thank you for that, breaking each one down in this connection to environment, because they're all interchangeable. They all revolve around each other and support each other. So at the very beginning, you said some very, very key concepts. You said active steps, and then you said sustainable choices and local support. Can you just tell us a little bit about sustainable choices? Because I don't think enough people understand and realize that concept of sustainability. What does that look like in just in general, and then when you break it down into environmental wellness?
Sustainability, so you want to make sure what you're doing is going to be good in the long run as well. So, this is using less single-use plastics, reduce, reuse, recycle. We learn that at a young age, but it really does contribute to the fact of, making your environment more sustainable, because then there's less waste going to incinerators and, oh, I'm blanking on the name. Wow. But the ooh, is it
Okay.
landfills? Yes.
Yes.
So incineration and landfills, making that more sustainable, just being able to go to local gardens, buying fresh produce, not just in like getting prepackaged foods and meats in the supermarkets. I mean fruits and vegetables. Making sure that we are also recycling, uh, being able to compost, things of that nature help make a sustainable future for us in the long run.
Do you think there needs to be more education around the concept of sustainability, that, the reuse, reduce, recycle, and now the new one, rethink, more education around, composting and things like that in our city? Do you think we need to have more education around those topics?
Yes, I definitely agree, because even with my own experience, a lot of times we talk about these things, but we don't know exactly how to initiate these activities. And I know with even going to the University of Maryland for a conference recently, I noticed they had sections for all trash. They had a waste section, they had a compost section, they had a recycle section. And then sometimes I would even get in my head like, okay, which bin do I put which one in, you know? I feel like we definitely need to have some more conversation,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that's part of the basics as well, just getting your first starts, your first step in the game, and that can even start in lower levels like elementary school
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely. Yeah, that's what I'm advocating for as well, because it does make a difference. People say that it doesn't, but it really, really does. Like I like Newark's theme for the garbage, where it says every piece of litter has a name on it. Is it yours? Something like that, right? That builds up after time. So Asada, we thank you. We thank you so much for coming and enlightening us about what environmental wellness looks like. Because when you think of wellness, sometimes people don't think of those things. They don't think of those 8 dimensions of wellness, and environmental wellness is a huge part of how we show up physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So we really, really thank you. So for our next wellness post on November 15th, we'll address intellectual wellness as we continue our series about the 8 dimensions of wellness.
Thank you, Hajjah Dena, and
You're
thank you,
welcome.
Ms. Asada, for such a thorough and clear presentation about environmental wellness. This has really been informative. Remember, our UPAO Wellness Wednesday video posts go up the third Wednesday of each month. Thanks for watching. Be sure to look for our next video post on November 15th. In the meantime, be sure to enjoy yourself outdoors at a park, playground, or other open space. And if you go to Weequahic Park, hopefully you'll see Miss Asada there walking by the lake. Thank you.
Thank you so much.